Hello, sippers. Get ready for the Set podcast where we sip, eat, talk, the ultimate blend of flavors and conversations. I'm Gina, your host, culinary enthusiast, and spirited conversationalist. Each episode will explore diverse topics, share laughs, and savor the moment with special guests. Sip on insights, eat up knowledge, and join the conversation. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and YouTube at Sip, Eat, Talk Podcast. Subscribe now for a journey that's as delicious as it is insightful. Let's sip, eat, and talk together. Cheers! Today in episode 2, we have another installment of the Generational Sip, and we dive into the world of text culture. Natasha, Kennedy, and myself, we have great conversations behind the scenes after episodes and started to have a conversation about being single and dating and text culture and decided to come together again to finish our discussion. I know that you guys will enjoy this 2-part episode today. So let's get into it. Welcome to the Set Podcast. I'm your host, Gina. If you are here with me, then you are part of what? The Sipper community. That's right. Whether you're drinking your favorite cocktail, mocktail, water, energy drink, coffee, or tea, you are a sipper and we're glad to have you. The podcast can be found on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music, as well as some other platforms. So be sure to subscribe and follow. Lately, I've had a taste for cucumbers and I've been eating cucumbers a lot more. So today, I am eating on for this episode some cucumbers. I like to sprinkle them with some everything bagel seasoning, another thing that I like. And I pair my cucumbers with the Montchevre Goat Cheese, the fig and olive flavor. I found it at Whole Foods, but it's in a lot of different grocery stores. Getting my little nibble before we get started. You know it's good when you start dancing. I'll include a link in the description. So let's get into what I'm sipping on for this episode. It's the holiday season, and I had some friends over and wanted to do a fun activity. So I decided to infuse some tequilas. I did 3 flavors so that we could have a tequila tasting. I did blackberry basil, cucumber mint, lime, and I did habanero citrus. And you can find a link to how I diffused the tequilas in the description. But what I did today for myself, I made a blackberry basil spiked iced tea. That's right. I took that blackberry basil infused tequila and mixed it with some iced tea. I also have put a link in the description for this ornament ball that I'm drinking out of today. It was a gift from a friend for the holiday season. Shout out to Radnisha. And whatever you're sipping on, join me in a toast to a great episode. Cheers. Let's get into part 1 of the Gen Sip. What's up, sippers? We are here with another segment of the Generational Sip, better known as the Gen Sip, where we connect the 3 generations for some good sips and some good chats. Welcome, my beautiful co-segment host, the lovely Natasha, representing the millennials. Say what's up, Natasha.
Hello, everybody.
And Miss Kennedy, representing those Gen Zers. What's up, Miss Kennedy?
Hey.
You know, I have to ask, what are you ladies sipping on today? What are you sipping on, Natasha?
Coffee coming off finals.
You still sipping on your coffee? How about you, Kennedy?
Pinot Grigio. It's never too early.
I know that's right. They already know what I'm sipping on. So let's cheers up for another segment, ladies. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right, let's get into it today. We try to think about topics that are entertaining and amusing to us and how differently we can think sometimes. Well, we're learning that we can think on the same line sometimes. So today we want to talk about text culture. And the first thing I want to address with text culture, because my friends talk about me so bad, are the memes. Let me tell you. I am obsessed. Love it, love it, love it. I love me a good meme. If I could have a whole conversation with you just based on memes, I would do it. I even had a friend that told me once that her and her husband were trying to reconnect, but they agreed for one day that they will only communicate through memes. She's like, it was the most hilarious thing. So talk to me, Natasha, my millennial. How are you feeling about memes, the giffies? How are you with those in text?
I love a good meme. I do communicate sometimes through gifts, but like when people send me funny memes, ones that are really funny, I love it. Like I'm such a jokester, so I live for a good meme.
How about you, Kennedy?
Like our generation, we don't really use the GIFs and stuff like that too much anymore. Now we're kind of on to like TikTok sounds. So I'll say
Yeah.
a TikTok sound and they'll know exactly like what I'm talking about and what I'm trying to communicate. But if we do use a meme, it's anything Drewski. I don't know if y'all know who Drewski
Love
is.
Drewski, yes. I actually know something.
The
Can I please tell you what I don't know? I don't even know what you mean when you say a tic tac sound. I'm so lost right now.
TikTok sound. So
What do you
like
mean?
when you're on TikTok, they use certain sounds. Like
Yeah, to like put a emphasis on something. You can do that in tech.
like
Okay.
in audio form. So you choose the visual of your choice, and then you put the TikTok sound on top of it, and it's meant to be like sarcastic or funny, but they are great. Like when used like the right way, hilarious.
See, we have to
Yeah.
learn because I did. So, Kennedy, why do I always feel like when you say something, you be like, I feel like my generation, I instantly want to be offended. I want to instantly. You
but
owe people using memes and giffies. Cut it out.
like we don't use that anymore.
No, millennials, we use TikTok sounds too. Like that's like that is like the new hot thing.
All right, so now I'm even scared to ask this now because Natasha, you answer first. I'm putting Kennedy in timeout for a second. So are we still using? I don't even know what the proper name of it, and feel like Kennedy has me feeling insecure, like I'm gonna feel old. I call it like acronym text language. What do you call like BRB or the little, instead of
Yeah.
saying the word out or saying the phrase out when you want to say be right back? What do we call that? I was an educator too, so I like to say acronyms, which is the proper name.
Acronyms. I would
I don't
say
know.
like shorthand text.
What would you call that, Kennedy?
Just say it's like text slang.
Just text slang. Okay. I
Text
actually
slang.
wish we could go back and edit it because now I don't want to be on camera saying acronym.
Come on, take it back. We taking it back to school. Come on, acronym.
Are we still using text slang? Me personally, I hate it. I especially hate it if I'm dating somebody. It drives me. Just say good morning. I don't want a GM. I don't like it. How do y'all feel about text slang?
I don't particularly like it. I think for some things like LOL or BRB, I think that's useful, but I think it's a preference thing. I think having a serious conversation or if it's something like professional, then don't use text slang. But like for simple things like, on my way or BRB, LOL, I'm cool with that. But I am a language person. I'm a orator, I'm a writer. So I appreciate words.
Talk to us, Kennedy.
I feel like for me, it's like LOL just used every day. It doesn't matter.
We would type laugh out loud. Why would you type that? Right.
Definitely not using it in a professional manner. If I'm dealing with a guy and I say GM, I have an attitude. That's not me really telling you good morning. I'm really trying to be smart.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What you thinking about, which also gets into emojis. If I put a little cute two little pink hearts, I'm being sarcastic because if I don't give you a red heart, that means I'm being smart with you.
Okay, Teach, because that was the next one. We were going to move into emojis. That was my next one. Okay, let's stay for it for a minute. Okay, break this down for me. So a red heart emoji, you're into it, but two pink hearts,
we're good. Two pink hearts, I'm being sarcastic or I'm just being friendly.
Who knows that? How would you know that? For me.
Red heart means something. Pink heart is friendly. Or I'm being
Pink
smart
heart
with
is friendly. Okay. So emojis, I feel like, and I'm very good. I use emojis, and I hate to say this because now I don't want everybody looking at my text that I send and judge me. But sometimes emojis can be like lazy text language for me, or I don't know what to say. Sometimes I think I use an emoji. Like if you said something, I'm naturally sarcastic. Sometimes I think about what I say or how I might come across, and I just don't really have the words because I don't know if I'm responding right. Are you using emojis because you don't have the words or you just don't feel like it? I don't know. Let's say
you literally text with emojis like
I can't see you.
Say taco dinner.
I'm in so many group chats, but let's say with my childhood girlfriends, if we're in a group chat, today was a rough day, y'all. And I might send some prayer hands and a smiley face.
Like to go in addition to it, right?
No, that's it. That's unacceptable.
At least I think you're being authentic because I think text is so limited. There are only so many emotions. There are only in so many ways you can emote via text message. And sometimes when someone says something to you, there's really nothing to say. But I think sometimes a good emoji expresses the sentiment of how you. It's useful in
Well
that
said.
Sometimes you ain't got the words. And I'd rather you be authentic with your prayer hands than to say something corny like, God's gonna just I get it.
Right, that right there. Sometimes it feels like, is it forced? No, Kennedy, you're not
Yeah.
feeling it. You're
I
not
feel
feeling
like
it, Kennedy.
I feel like we strayed away from emojis other than laughing ones, like the regular emojis, or if we're trying to make something cute with a heart or something. But I feel like now to express ourselves, like I said, we rely on those TikToks, or a Drewski meme. We'll send something like that instead of using emojis as a form of expression, if that makes sense.
That definitely makes sense. This is why I love having these conversations. It's good because I'm going to get off here and I'm going to text Kennedy and be like, okay, break down this TikTok thing now. Like, what? About to go on
Yeah,
YouTube.
Look, now I gotta send y'all some TikToks. That way y'all know the sounds I'm talking about.
popular
Even know this sounds. Okay, so y'all look for that on the S.E.T Talk podcast IG page. I love you girls. These chats are something I absolutely look forward to. Y'all always teach me something new. And I hope that our listeners out there learning something new just like all of us are.
Definitely. I think even though we communicate differently, at the end of the day, we all just want a good laugh. That's all that matters.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed.
I can't wait to continue this conversation on the ever evolving culture of texting, modern communication. I absolutely love it. So,
especially when we start talking about dating. Continuing on with the Jensen, we thought this conversation was so good. We had to keep it going with the part 2. So you were with us as we talked about texting generally. We laughed, we shared some different things with each other, and even discovered some things across the generations that we do differently. But as a Generation X, Millennial, and Gen Zer who are single, we are about to get into texting and dating. What is the first thing that comes to mind, Natasha?
we're in modern times. It's a different way of dating.
Modern times. What's the first thing you think when you hear texting and dating, Kennedy?
The way that you communicate with one another.
Because that's always been a thing for you, right? It's
Yeah.
always been texting for you. And has it always been texting for you? Natasha, when you were 16, 17, 18, did you have a cell phone?
I had a cell phone, but it was much more talking back then.
Much more talking?
What do they call it? AIM? Down the pad on all. AIM
is that AOL? What is AIM? Remind me what?
Had dial-up internet. It's a chat. MySpace years too. So yeah, lots of phone time.
Well, let's start off with that. Let's say you meet someone out. Is it okay for them to contact you through text the first time opposed to calling you?
Absolutely. That's the norm now, especially in the initial communication stages for sure.
Tell me why.
Because I think you're just getting to know each other. It's not as intense. Sometimes you can feel a person out via text. Sometimes a guy can be really cool. And you're like, oh, I got to FaceTime him. I got to see him. Or can be kind of a jerk and kind of dry and like lack communication skills. So you kind of determine like, do I want to talk to this guy? But I feel like you just kind of know quickly. But I think it's fine. Just at the beginning.
And I would agree. I don't mind if someone was to text me if we were to just me. I find that at this age, and because of my professional life, I spent so much time on the phone. I absolutely have no problem texting. My family, to be honest, gets on because they tell you I'll write a dissertation or a book report through text. So I don't have a problem with that at all. So how do you find a happy medium between I'm struggling now and I'm trying to do better with this in 2024. I've been telling anybody that will listen, I'm going to be more intentional about this. But with regards to dating, how do you find a happy medium in being too available with regards to your responses? Because I grew up and I come from an age, I don't think I had my first cell phone 1999, 2000. I'm like 2 years out of college. And so I am not in a space. I'm in a space you left your house, somebody called you. If you weren't there, you didn't get the call. You didn't talk to them. And if they left a message on the answer machine, a lot of people I knew grew up didn't even have answer machines. You don't even know they call. You just got to wait so they call back and hear it again. So I think coming from that, it's this urgency. I don't like that sense of urgency or that sense of entitlement that because I text you, I know you seen it. I know you need to respond. No, I really don't have to. I can respond when I want to. So how do you find a balance immediate need to, do you take a certain approach, like, I don't want to do this too soon, or is just something that just naturally comes for you guys? How about you, Kennedy?
I think I just respond. If I see it, I respond. If I see it and I end up getting distracted, it kind of is what it is. Just know I'm gonna get back to you. For me, I'm a bad texter, so I get back to you on a FaceTime call or a long regular call or whatever. But I don't really get too much into the urgency. Like, I know we have lives outside of our phones, so you busy, as long as you text me back. But be consistent with what you do. Like, if I'm somebody that you want to pursue, then obviously text me back. Like, don't be trying to act like I wanted you first or something. Like, come on. There needs to be some type of consistency there. You know what I'm saying? So
I got you.
I don't get too much into that.
And we know that you're not a great texter because you don't always text your auntie back when your auntie texts you. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. How about you, Natasha?
I agree with both of you ladies that sometimes we become beholden to like our phones and we feel like, oh, we have to answer. But I think like to preserve self-care, you don't have to answer right away. And I also think when it comes to dating, if you're the man and you're pursuing me, you are never going to be the center of my world immediately, right? You're not
She
my
has
husband.
spoken. She has spoken.
My world is about me. So whatever I want to do and putting my needs first, that's what I'm going to do. So if I don't text you back right away, you're gonna be okay. If I like you, you're gonna know. Because I feel like I don't have to be like fake mysterious where like, some girls that get on the internet are like, when a guy texts you, wait 5 hours. I mean, girl,
Hey,
I'm 36. Like, if I like you, you're gonna know I like you. I'm gonna answer you back.
Okay. So let's get into pet peeves when it comes to texting and dating.
This guy I was actually talking to, who I immediately cut off after 2 days.
Did you say 2 days? And did you put that immediately in there?
immediately.
Immediately no. Immediately no.
Immediately no to you, everything that will ever happen between us, because I know they're using this term called sassy man. He's so sassy because he was not only being a jerk, but he was also supporting his text with a lot of eye roll gifts. And like I could take a good gift, like if you can use it the right way, or like
Okay.
if you're actually funny. But I wanted to let him know, like, you are a jerk and you're not funny. So it's a lot of these gifts, and I was like, absolutely, you're sassy. I get what the girls say when they say that he's a sassy man.
Yeah, no, that's apocalypse right now. Like you
We're in a
saying,
what, Kennedy?
an apocalypse, a
Sassy
sassy.
man.
What does that even help for anyone who's listening that may not, what do you mean by sassy?
You don't know how to regulate your emotions, and sometimes it almost feels like you're talking to another woman. He's just always trying to clap back and snap back and have the last word, and he's real nitpicky. Dudes usually know how to keep their composure, be respectful, but it's like, oh, I feel like I'm talking to one of my girlfriends.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I understand. Kennedy, let me know, what's a pet peeve of yours with regards to texting and dating?
If you're like saying that you're busy, like I said, I'm a bad texter.
Okay.
So you let me know that you're busy, but then you're on Instagram, like liking pictures. I see you on Twitter tweeting. Like, you're not that busy. So what's going on?
Now that's
Obviously.
different if they say that you're busy, but that goes back to my inquiry about the immediateness. Like, I'm still in the space of, just because you text me, does that mean I have to answer right then and there? Now that's different. You said if they tell you they're busy, I understand it because they're saying they're busy. I don't have to respond to you immediately just because you text me, and then we'll comment if I put something on Instagram, Facebook, be like, "Why you ain't respond to my text yet? I just hit you up. You ain't said." I'm like, "Wait, what?" Like, to me, it's kind of like the audacity in there. I do not like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, don't text under my picture. But I'm just saying, like, if you tell me that you're busy, okay, cool. But you're on Twitter and you're doing this, you're doing that. Like, just say you don't want to talk right now. It's not that serious. Don't tell me you're busy, then you on social media. It's not that deep.
My pet peeves are, don't send me any sexually explicit photos of yourself. I've experienced that before, and I think that's an immediate red flag because I feel like guys feel like, oh, I can get away with it. Oh my god, it's really classless. And I also hate when guys say send or like, what do you have on right now? Let me
Let me
see.
see what you're wearing. Oh my
Or
God.
send me a pic of you.
Could
I
you
said,
imagine somebody in their 50s saying that to you? Somebody in their 50s saying that to you. It's
oh yeah,
like,
I'm like, you're not my husband. I'm in my private space. Why do I have to send you a real-time photo of me in a bra and some shorts? Or send me a photo of you. You saw my picture of like or hit my gram.
do not want to talk about something serious via text. I absolutely don't want to talk about something serious through text. That is a pet peeve, especially if you're upset and I don't know you're upset. So it's completely catching me off guard. And I'm going to tell y'all, I used to abuse that a lot. So that's definitely come with growth on my part. But I feel like it's a cowardly way to discuss something, especially if you're mad or upset. Just pick up the phone and tell me you're mad or upset, but do not drop something very serious over text. And now I have to try to figure out, because one or two words can totally change what something is saying in text. And sometimes you end up in arguments because of one or two words that actually weren't even meant. Well, let's just not do that. Let's just talk about it. That's when I want to get away with it. What say ye? Let's start with you, Kennedy.
I don't know. I feel I'm the same way. I don't want to talk about anything serious through text, but at the same time, for me, I'm the type of person where I need to take a moment and think about what I'm going to say because,
Okay.
but
You would drop it in
at the end of
text?
the day, yeah, I would drop it in text, but at the end of the day, like, of course, like, we'll follow up through a FaceTime or in person and have that conversation and go through the emotions. But I just can't, like, if you ask me something on the spot, I can be feeling the type of way, but because it's kind of hard for me to verbally communicate my feelings
Okay.
with certain things, I just need to internalize it first, write it down, and then I can actually communicate how I feel.
Photos I have in my phone. I'm not about to just send you a photo of me and my scarf and my glasses. Are you kidding? It's annoying. And I especially think in the early stages, like it's too much. Just
It's too
relax.
much. So let's talk about times, ladies. If you just met someone, what's an inappropriate time to be texting you? When should that stop be? And if you do even know the person, is there still an appropriate or inappropriate time to be texting?
I don't know. I'm a night owl, so you texting me and I'm up at 1 a.m. is not. I'm not taking that any type of way. Now, if you're on some crazy stuff, talking about what you on,
What you wearing? What you got
yeah,
on?
just don't even mind
Okay.
texting my phone with all that. But
Okay. Okay.
I don't mind us like up chopping it up like at 1 in the morning, 3 in the morning, a kiki and like I have no problem with doing that, but it just depends on what your intentions are and what you're actually talking about.
But is
Pretty
there
much.
really an expectation that you're going to have a conversation at 1 in the morning? Is it, am I
I
being
mean,
wired
if
too
we're
tightly?
like,
Like, is there really an expectation? And I have insomnia, so I'm up all the time, but I don't want you to text me at 1 o'clock in the morning.
I don't know. I feel like it's not that big of a deal with the texting if we continue in the conversation. Like, yeah, I just woke up. Da, 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 like,
Okay. Okay.
but I agree with you in a sense of like you texting me to come over at 1 in the morning. Of course, come on.
What'd you say, Natasha?
It's important to, when I'm first dating someone, to like set the tone. So I feel like if you're texting me at 2 or 3 in the morning, whether it's like casual or something a little bit more spicy, I'm not going to answer you, because for you to assume that I'm up at 2 or 3 in the morning, it's like, okay, you can't just like text me whenever. I think it's more of like just not saying, I don't think it's disrespectful, but I just like to set the tone of the relationship. Like, you had all day to text me.
Okay.
Could have, chopped it up all during the day and even late at night, but like it's 2 a.m. So
Right.
you're not expect a response from me, and depending on my mood, I may reply, I may not. But I feel like to every rule there's an exception. So if I meet you and I'm dating you and I really like you and we just really like each other, I will reply to your text. You know what I mean? Because if we're on the phone having 4 or 5 hour conversations and it's just a vibe. If
Yeah.
we late at night, I'll text you back because I
Yeah.
like him. I like it when he texts me. But in general, I think it's important as a woman to set the tone.
I think it just depends on the seriousness of the person and if you really like them and if you genuinely see a connection and just like how the conversation goes. Like I mean, hey, like I don't take it in a negative connotation that you just think I'm a slut or something. Like
I'm a night out too, and I just think sometimes, sometimes a person's up and they're thinking about you. They just want to, So I'm with you on that.
Do you think it's easy to interpret through text if someone's interested or not interested? You don't
For
think
sure.
so, Kennedy?
For sure.
so
I'm with Natasha. I'm like, for sure. Why do you say no, Kennedy? I'm curious to hear this.
that's why I'm a FaceTimer and a going on a date type person, because you can fill them out in person way more than you can fill them out over text. So like I can text something like, yeah, nah, I'm good, but you may
Okay.
interpret it as, oh, like what's going on, like
Oh,
she
you good?
good,
Oh, you
okay.
good? Right.
But the whole time I'm like,
You
yeah,
meant
nah, I'm
it.
good.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it's kind of hard to interpret what a person is actually trying to communicate to you through text. I think you just kind of have to go based on the vibes that you have with that person in person. So because I know you, I know when you text me such and such that it's not anything negative. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So
Yeah, some people are dry texters.
I
but I think
agree.
that's where the FaceTime part comes in.
That Kennedy let me know that her and her people don't really use emojis. Do that. But how do y'all feel about those type of things when dating? The memes, the emojis. Is it okay? Is it playful? Is it welcomed? Are you looking at them like they're corny?
I know I talk with a lot of emojis. I love a good TikTok reference too. It's always a new phrase every week. I'm a jokester, a part-time stand-up comedian myself, so I feel like I'm always joking. I do have a bias for TikTok references.
Like, what does that feel like for you, Kennedy?
I think it makes the conversation fun. Like I love a good little TikTok reference and like the memes, like the videos and stuff. It makes it fun because now I know exactly what you're saying and how you're saying it. Even though
Okay.
I can probably connect it, even though if you just say it in a text message, but it really makes it fun. You're being funny, you're playful, and I'm that type of person. Like I like to laugh, so you being playful with me over the phone, that doesn't make me think of you as a cornball. You're funny. Give me a taste of their personality too.
Do you feel like it's a good time to move from texting when you meet somebody to now talking on the phone?
I'm a talker. I don't like you if I think you're kind of dry. I won't like, call, but I think I absolutely need to connect with you via talking, and nothing can replace that.
I'm happy
Yeah.
to hear that. I feel the same way. I didn't know if it was a age thing, but I'm a conversationalist, as you all know. And so I want to know what that vibe is like. And also, I feel I like to give grace to people because everybody is not a writer. Everybody doesn't do the best with texting. And sometimes the way you text or the broken way you talk and text, it can be not attractive sometimes. So I'd rather get on the phone with you to know what kind of talker you are, because I don't want to judge you based on what those texts come through looking like and the misspellings or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I don't want to get too hung up on that because it's very easy to get hung up on that.
250 words, one period.
Capital letters. All capital letters. So
Yeah,
I like to get on that phone. But I'm okay with texting like during the day. I'm a big texter. I don't have a problem with texting. And then Natasha put me on to something outside of text, but voice
the
messages.
voice
Oh my God.
memos.
I'm obsessed with
Love
them because now you can hear my voice, you know what I'm saying, you know just how I'm saying it, but it's still in text.
It's a good happy medium. I love to talk. I think talking to someone is important because you get to feel their energy. And I think the voice texts are a good happy medium because you can get a sense of the person better through the voice, and you can feel their emotions. You can be kind of silly and goofy.
Right. The only thing
Mhm.
I don't like about it with my friends who are, I would say for the most part, very not aware of it. I think I only have one friend that I really do voice memos with. It disappears if you don't
You can keep
listen
them.
to it a certain amount of time. So I'm talking to people and it's too long for me to kind of text it. I'm in the middle of something. And so I'll leave a voice message and then they'll hit me back like, well, why you ain't say nothing? Or what? I'm like, I did. So now I have to do a habit of learning to keep it and hitting keep so that it stays so I can send it again. But I don't feel like for the average one of my friends use it, they're not into it at all. But I really love it. Right, ladies. Well, there you have another discussion across the generations, enjoying each other's point of views, learning a little bit something along the way. And so, to all our sippers out there, we hope that you've enjoyed it and learned something too. Until next time, Natasha and Kennedy, cheers.
Cheers.
Well, sippers, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Text culture is something that is ever evolving, is here to stay. And if you're like me, we're going to keep learning. I'm still going to look into those TikToks. Thank you for joining us. Thank you to our resident millennial and Gen Z, Natasha and Kennedy, for joining us today. Remember, links are in the description for my YouTube video for how I infuse those tequilas. You can also find a link to the Montchevre Goat Cheese as well as to my ornament ball that I was drinking out of today. Remember, life is too short for bad vibes and bad drinks. So keep sipping, keep chatting, and always remember, life is a journey, but it's better with a sip and a chat. Until next time, cheers. Thank you, sippers, for joining the S.E.T podcast where we sip, eat, talk. If you've enjoyed our flavorful conversations, don't miss out on future episodes. Subscribe now and follow us on Instagram, at YouTube, at Sip, Eat, Talk Podcast. Let's continue to sip, eat, and talk together. Until next time, cheers.